I believe it was either 2005 or 2006. There was a real bad fuel situation at that time. And it was something like 6 hours. And when we were 5 cars from the pump, the fuel was done. So that was the 6 hours that I'll never be able to get back in my life. It's a feeling of extreme disappointment because you know it is not a problem that you can resolve yourself. It's a situation that is out of your control, and it's a situation that in your mind you believe should not occur. So when you wait that long and you don't get what you're supposed to get and you feel that it's something that's out of your control, you feel extremely frustrated. When I was a teenager, before I got my license, I was oblivious to any sort of fuel shortages. You know, kids are selfish that way.
My name is Farai and I'm founder and coach at Legends Football Academy.
The first time I remember was probably when I was in my 20s, and just in those days you used to run on 3 liters of fuel in your car because, I mean, you didn't have a lot of money, and you'd calculate each liter is going to give me 10K, so today I can kind of cover 30. And with that calculation, I remember going to a party once and thinking, well, there's a garage nearby, so we'll be able to get the fuel before we come back. And after doing the calculation and needing the fuel, that garage didn't have fuel. And I remember having to flag down another person to take us to a garage further away to get 3 liters of fuel to come back and put into the car so we could get home from that party. That was probably my first sort of memory of a fuel shortage of any kind. Yeah. When fuel has been short or there's been a fuel crisis, it's always been kind of like you're in a disaster situation. You know, everything is on sort of high alert. I don't panic as much as I used to. I always keep 20 liters of fuel at home, so that if a crisis or anything happens, I know I got the 20 liters to get me going to where I need to go. It's about prioritizing. You'll be amazed how far you can get on 1 full tank of fuel. You can't go to as many places and just go through past the garage. The fuel attendants become sort of celebrities because a good fuel attendant can call you an hour or 2 hours before fuel arrives at that depot, and that guy's very valuable. Nothing levels the playing field as shortages of something, all right? Affluent or not, you are equal. And in those fuel queues, everyone from across society is there in those queues. I don't think it's correct to get to a pump with your car and 10 jerry cans, because then I'm thinking you're probably a black market dealer. And if I'm in the queue, I'm thinking I'm not going to get some fuel. I think if you waited in the queue and you've got your car and a jerry can, I think it's acceptable. Maybe you need to fill up your generator at home, right? A combi driver is a scourge to society. I think when the world blows up, cockroaches and combi drivers will be the 2 that survive. Their behavior is atrocious. Yeah. Here we run a football academy, Legends Football Academy. We train children from the age of 16 to 18 on how to become footballers. Normally we have about 80 kids on site on a weekend. But as you can imagine, when there's a fuel crisis, people change their priorities because they might have to save that fuel to go to work the next week. You know, you can't do the things you normally used to do. You can't take your kid to all 3 soccer sessions or soccer practices. You got to now say, what do I prioritize? Do I go to work or do I do that social thing? My mental trick is that I consider a quarter tank an empty tank. So as soon as my tank hits quarter, I consider that to be empty. You know, I've tried to explain that to my wife. She never gets it. She can run out. But I always just understand that as soon as I'm at quarter, I'm at 0. If I don't believe that I have enough fuel to take me where I want to go and come back, Instead of feeling hopeless and stuck, I'm just going to figure out what work or what I need to do from home. I'm not gonna move around. I actually really even don't have the patience to wait in queues anymore. I'd just rather wait for the crisis to end and then move forward from there.